in the West, over the past 250 years, we've had, since the Industrial Revolution, unemployment's been between 5 and 10% the whole time. It was a worldwide depression, of course, where it was higher, but that wasn't from technology. But in that time period, it was 5 to 10%, 5 to 10%, 5 to 10%, always year after year after year after year. And there were three things that came along in that time period that one could argue have a bigger impact than the kind of AI we're talking about today. And I know that that isn't a particularly, everybody wants to think that like, no, this is different. Today's different. This one's different. But there are three other things that have happened of similar magnitude. The first was the replacement of animal power with machines. And so you just think about that. Every animal that was a draft animal, all of that was replaced with steam, with machines. And this happened over the course of 20 years. Steam went from being almost no power generation to virtually all power was generated by steam. So you just have to understand that was just an incredible shift. And what happened to unemployment? It was 5 and 10%, between 5 and 10%, 5 and 10%. So the second one would be the assembly line. The assembly line is artificial intelligence in a way, if you think about it. If you were a craftsman and you were, building cars in your garage one at a time, and then this new piece of technology came along, this assembly line, that would be a very frightening thing. And that everybody would be like, I'm going to lose my job, and how am I going to compete with this? And all of the same narrative, it's the same story. Guess what happened to unemployment? 5 to 10%, 5 to 10%. And then the third thing that happened was electrification of industry. And that happened so quickly because it was a competitive advantage. It was a competitive advantage for a company to be able to, electrify. And then you didn't have noisy steam engines. You had electricity and you had lights and all of that. And that had the potential to disrupt everything. And what happened to unemployment? 5 to 10%, 5 to 10%, year after year. And so what's going on? What's happening is that in all of these cases, people use technology to grow their productivity higher. They use the technology to grow their productivity. And that's really the way we get wage growth. The reason, I don't work as hard as my great-great-grandparents, but I live a much more comfortable life, it's because every hour of my time is far more productive because of technology. So what happens is these technologies come along and we figure out how to use them to grow productivity and to grow our wages. And we just build new jobs around them.